No?
Oh.
As in how long to start?
Stand by there.
Good afternoon, welcome to State of the Nation here on Power 102.1 FM. I am Gregory McBurney, your host for today. In today's show, we have with us members of the People's Empowerment Party, Empowerment Party, the P.E.P for short. We have the leader, Mr. Philip Alexander. We also have the candidate for Belmont East, Ms. Felicia Holder, and Mr. Christoph Samlal, the person going up to represent the P.E.P in Barataria in the upcoming local government elections slated to take place next week, Monday. Of course, as we get nearer and nearer to the date, I guess, the activity is starting to heat up and people are starting to really try to get their message out there to get the persons who may be undecided. So we decided we'll bring in the P.E.P today to really get their message out to the people, give them the opportunity to let people know what the P.E.P can offer them in this upcoming local government election. So I guess we'll start with that. First off, Felicia going up for Belmont East. I know that is not going to be an easy seat. In the last elections, the PNM won that by a clean sweep, 724 votes to 49 for the United National Congress. What makes you so confident that you can pull off an upset?
Because the people of Belmont East are fed up. They are literally fed up of the same promises, the same politicians coming to tell them we want to clean it, we want to pave your roads, we want to pick up your rubbish, we want to fix your street lights, we want to do this. But it's the same thing, and I tell my people of Belmont is this. We heard this 2 years ago in the last local government elections. We heard it 3 years before that. I myself have been asking over 20 years now to have a street light installed on my street. We're hearing it over and over and over, and nothing is happening. I say, why did the PNM realize that garbage disposal was an issue in Belmont East only when the local elections came around? The UNC candidate boasted that the UNC was able to bring water to Belmont East for this campaign. Where was that power to bring water to the taps of Belmont East residents before, and will it happen after the election? Why are we getting all these gimmicks now? I am here to bring real representation to the people. The people of Belmont East are fed up. I am fed up. I say your fight is my fight. I have been a resident who is just... It's too much. It's happening over and over and over and over, and you get to realize that these parties clearly do not have the well-being of the Belmont East residents at heart, because if that was the case, all that they're campaigning about now and promising and want to bring to the table would have been fixed 4 decades ago.
Right, and Christoph Samlal, are you going up for Barataria? What are you planning to, I guess, bring to the residents of Barataria? Why should they vote for you is the question I guess people want to know.
Well, again, their issue is real representation. Their issues that they have, which is a lack of maintenance of the infrastructure, as well as accountability for the stuff in Samlal, the regional corporation. They need that representation, especially seeing that they haven't had it in umpteen years.
All right, so let me ask you both of you a question, and I guess you all could answer it. I'll go with you first, Christoph. Trinidad and Tobago traditionally, for the most part, we are a two-party state for the most part. That's what we have evolved into, for lack of a better phrase. What made you decide to join the Progressive Empowerment Party as opposed to joining one of those two traditional parties to bring the same change that you want to bring?
Well, you can't look at the problem and hope to find a solution there. I mean, they had the chance and they didn't find a solution. So why would me being part of that be any help? And like I always tell the people of Barataria, 56 years, two parties, but nobody dancing. It's time for a new party.
Like that phrase. What about you, Felicia?
It's similar to what Christoph said. I mean, you can change a car, you can put brand new paint, you can put a flick it, you can add a spoiler, but if the engine old and dirty and broken, it ain't going nowhere. Why should I join the PNM and the UNC to fight this fight when that same party who is in government right now can't get it right? Why should I waste my youth, my talent, my energy in a party that just stolen? Come on. Listen, this is hard work. I'm telling you, joining a party that is starting from scratch and doing this from the ground up, real hard work. But I prefer doing it with a party that has no track record of corruption, mismanagement, lying, broken promises, and do it the right way, than to join a party that has just been here telling me the same thing for the past 56 years. And like I say, like a broken down car with a brand new spoiler, brand new paint, we ain't going nowhere.
All right, so I want to ask you all a question. You all both look like, I like to call you young people.
We are.
Yeah. Now, our sister station, Boom Champions, 94.1 FM, it's pretty much a a youth-oriented station, and most of the young persons there have a perception that politicians are all the same, no matter the party, no matter the color, orange, green, white, red, yellow, they all are the same. What do you have to say to young people? And first off, how do you think it important? How important do you think it is that young people are involved in politics? Being young people yourselves.
Well, I think it's very important. I did a recent interview with The Guardian, and I said I became interested in politics around the age of 25, which was when, you know, you start to settle down in your youth and stuff, and you're realizing, okay, well, I now working, I have to pay for groceries, I have to pay for gas. I kind of want to move out of my mother's house, you know, but whoa, to get a loan is, you have to be making over $15,000, $20,000 a month. You're not even making quarter or half of that. And you realize that as a young person, the hope, the future for us does not look bright. And I tell young people right now who are not interested in politics when I'm campaigning, oh God, that's not for me, blah, blah, blah. It impacts us more than we realize. Politics is in everything. It's in the $100 that we have to decide if we're lining on the avenue or if we're paying for food tomorrow. It is in the grocery bills that we can't afford to pay because prices just skyrocketing. Politics is literally in everything, and I wish that the youth will take a closer and a more involved stance in politics, because we are the future belongs to us, sir. All the tanties and everybody who vote and pay them to like that, UNC and all of that, they're leaving this country, which is right now failing to the young people. And we need to step up and stand up and realize that we own Trinidad and Tobago, all of us. But we, the youth especially, we need to take charge of our politics, because this is the country we are going to inherit. And from the looks of it, with the track record, with the direction we are heading, we're not going to have, you know, we don't have much to look forward to.
Christoph, you think being a young person, it impacts your view on how we could correct the issues that we have had in society for all these years?
Definitely, because unlike the older people who are a little more jaded because they've experienced 56 years of the same thing. No. I see he take a pose too now, like he waiting on the answer. Yeah, definitely we can make an impact because our voices need to be added to it. You reminded me of an article when you asked a question. They asked, should millennials be involved in Congress or in Trinidad Parliament, right? The thing is, time is linear. It's inevitable. At some point in time, these millennial thinking minds are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. The progressive thing to do would be to start it from today.
All right. So, sticking with that thought of young persons, when we dealt with the issue on Boom Champions, there was one caller who said, in particular, listen, I don't know what it is all these young people are beaten up about, because at the end of the day, no matter what they say, these young people in these parties have to answer to people above them. That was the sentiments essentially that was expressed. How do you address those sentiments?
Well, like you say, we don't have to address any elders. The beauty of this party is empowerment. They empower the youth. They give us a voice. They let us have our voice in a national and political conversation.
Okay.
I don't know if you realize this, because I look like 12. Somebody told me in a walk. No, really. Somebody told me in a walk about, how old are you, darling? He's 12. I was like, darling, thank you very much. I felt good with that. But no, seriously, I am the chairman of the party, the interim chairman of this party. And one, I didn't imagine myself being the chairman of the party. But being put in that position as a young woman, 29 years old, I believe I was 28 at the time when I became the chairman. We are put, the youth in particular, we are given opportunities that I don't think any other political party has given to the youth. They have youth arms and etc. But the work that both Christoph and myself and other young people like Lima, and listen, this party is literally the energy. Yes, we have the brains by Mr. Alexander there, but the energy comes from the young people like us, because we understand that in order to have progressive thinking, you need to bring in the ideologies and the thinking of youth who are up to date with technology and who buy into the ideas of having a country that is built around progressive and forward-thinking solutions. So in terms of feeling oppressed and like, oh God, we have to answer to anybody, it's not like that at all. Everybody's ideas are taken into account, and we actually add to the collective of ideas and solutions towards fixing Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. One of the questions that was also raised was how effective. Now, a lot of people are unsure as to how local government operates, and all they know is that it's a predominantly, these city corporations are controlled by either one of the two major political parties. How do you think you will be able to fight for the persons in the communities that you represent if you are part of a corporation that is controlled mainly by one of those two major political parties?
Well, I was actually asked that this morning, and my answer was, it's not just one voice in council that's going to be put in. You have the entire Orange Army behind us, whether it means taking legislative power, legal power, or otherwise. We have a lot of people fighting for their rights. Even without being in office, we're fighting for their rights, much less in office.
And when we know your job is definitely going to be tough, because it's if you were to end up there, Felicia, you will be the only opposition essentially in that corporation.
You know, I want to say something, and I said it again this morning. I mean, it might start to sound like a script, because this is like probably the 5th, 6th, 7th interview that people have asked us this question. But when they ask us this question, I ask them in turn, do you realize what you're saying when you tell me that me as a person of the Progressive Empowerment Party is going to encounter pushback and resistance from a PNM-led corporation? Do you realize that we are playing politics with the people's lives? We are playing politics with delivering the right and the service that the people of Belmont, East and Barataria deserve? Don't you see that as a problem? That to me is a huge problem, because whether I'm from the PNM or the UNC or the Progressive Empowerment Party or ILP or MSJ, the people voted for service. And the fact that parties want to play politics for delivering the service for people, I'm not about that nonsense. And I say, and again, I sound like a script, I'm 5'1", I'm short, I'm cute, I'm cuddly, I have a one-sided dimple, but listen, I'm a badger when it comes to delivering service. And you see that corporation, you see all those people responsible for delivering services to my district of Belmont East, you all ain't ready yet. I'm telling you, you ain't ready.
All right, I want to talk a bit with Mr. Alexander, the leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party.
I hope you're making it proud today.
Yes,
well, I would like to say good day to the listeners of Power 102. They're on constant interviews, so I don't think we realize that this show just started without us even saying hello to the listeners and to the people following us on social media. The numbers jump high through the ceiling. So good day to the loyal listeners of Power 102. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's nice to meet this guy. I hear his voice on the news all the time. From the moment he said hello, I said, I know you, because I know that voice. But hello to all of the social media followers. Please share the video. We are in the countdown hours to the upset political earthquake of the millennium in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want you to see something, and even before you ask me a single question. Unlike Keith Rowley and Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, who has to go and talk for their candidates, because I've not seen a single PNM or UNC candidate on any platform standing up and speaking with the level of knowledge, courage, and fact that these two candidates have. And all of the attempts to marginalize this party and make it look small, they've blown that out of the water. Because you call them young people. But there are 41 people in the parliament. I challenge any of them to debate these two young people, and you would see the difference. It has nothing to do with age, size, color. It has to do with what you bring to the table. Politically, these are the students of the future and the champions of a better Trinidad and Tobago. And if the people of Belmont and Barataria had any plans for a better life for themselves and their loved ones, they will vote comprehensively orange on Monday.
All right. You mentioned something just now about your party. I was reading an article online, and you said you saw a meme in the article. It said that you saw a meme where you referred to as a fool and the members and the supporters of the P.E.P as bigger fools. Do you believe that your party is being targeted?
Attacked. Felicia told you just now, because you asked a question, and I tried to keep track of all the questions you asked, because I love her response, but she forgot to tell you something. That this party has a national caucus every Saturday. The entire party, all the teams, all the team leaders, all the managers of the party, and anybody from the public who wants to come. We have our management meeting between 10 and 12, and then from 12 is a public caucus, and everything that is party policy, program, idea is discussed. We've had, 50? I've lost count now.
Over 60.
60, right? We've had over 60 of those meetings. We've had 19 public meetings at 19 Stanmore Avenue at the Progressive Empowerment Party headquarters. We have this every Saturday at noon and it's open to the public. But we've had 19 public meetings. We've been Mamaral. I didn't know that there was a place in Trinidad called Mamaral until I went. We were in Point Fortin, Tunapuna, San Fernando twice, Chaguanas, Diego Martin, Santa Cruz. I mean, we have not yet touched down in Tobago. This Saturday, the Tobago arm begins the process of getting us ready, because when we go across to Tobago, it is to establish the Tobago arm, and we're going to be there for about a week dealing with Tobago issues specific, because Tobago issues are different to Trinidad issues. And the Progressive Empowerment Party, our first policy is this, that you cannot say that you have a transportation policy where Tobago is concerned if a brick, a block, and a banana cost different in Scarborough than it does in Port of Spain. And we need to right-size that so that the people of Tobago feel like they are part of the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. Until then, that ampersand playing the fool.
So, you said you all are being attacked. Why do you think you all are being attacked, and by whom?
The mainstream media in Trinidad and Tobago, One Caribbean Media, Guardian Media, are owned by or have extra influence by party in power. That's not what media was set up to be. Media was the other line. Media was the fourth estate. Media's job was to hold power to truth. When you say speak truth to power, some machinery has to hold power to truth. And that was the purpose of media. But we've arrived at a situation where Newsday is owned by a former PNM, Diego Martin Regional Corporation Chairman, former alderman, not elected, appointed, local government we're talking. He owns an insurance company that benefits from PNM contracts. Newsday newspaper has as its editor-in-chief Jones P. Madeira, who was responsible for Chutney Rising as a headline, the most divisive and polarizing act of journalism, hackery that has ever been done in this country. Still has a job, still in media, still allowed to purvey that filth. We are being marginalized and sidelined because Guardian Media has no interest in any political party upsetting the feeding gravy train. They took their chief operating officer out of the Ansa Makal empire and put him to sit on the boards of the major money spinners in Trinidad and Tobago to seek the Sabga clan's interests. They have zero interest. And their media, and we saw it, Raul Pantin was alive. Raul Pantin and I used to do a show every Sunday morning called Spin Cycle on 91.1 for 3 hours every Sunday morning. And Raul and I was, one day Raul called me on the phone, he said, and Raul is a man of great integrity and ethics when it comes to journalism. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Raul called me on the phone, he said, seeing what's going on? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And Judy Raymond, the then editor, and Suzanne Shepard, the then entertainment editor, had posted on social media that there was an attack against freedom of the press and journalistic integrity taking place within the newsroom when Gabriel Faria was the publisher or the managing director, and that the Sabga clan had interrupted what was the free expression of media. Now Nicholas Sabga runs all of Guardian Media at the newsroom level and is the director of content. You no longer have what is independent free media. So who does the Progressive Empowerment Party turn to when for all of our 19 public meetings, Janice Leamon Creaky, the hardest working PRO in politics in Trinidad and Tobago, goes out of her way to invite one by one all of the members of the media, sends them emails, sends them invitations, make sure that we have water and food and seat put aside for them, and they don't ever come. And the job of media, because in the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, freedom of speech, freedom of political association, all come before freedom of the press. Is designed that way for a purpose. That the media is supposed to reflect the expressive will of the people. And right now, that means if there is a real political challenge, alternative option to the racist, corrupt criminality of the PNM and the UNC, the media had a responsibility to the people of Trinidad and Tobago to let us, to let them know we were there.
Some would say that the view of the media you're putting forward is almost Trumpian, if you want to call it that.
Okay, but unlike Donald Trump, prior to me getting into the Progressive Empowerment Party, I was the media's darling. I had a show on this radio station until Incha and Ishmael used Jack Warner's money to buy up all the radio time, so Steve Khan had to let me go. But I had a radio show here, and politics and ILP politics, because as a journalist at the time and a member of the Media Association, I refused to let Jack Warner get away with what he was trying to get away with as the ILP. And Incha and Ishmael had called in in here, and it was broadcast live, and I have the recording still, of him trying to tell me that our responsibility is all of us need to network and work together. I say I'm not networking and working together with people who have interests contrary and contradictory to the will of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is not what I am in this for. They bought up all the time. I was on Hema Ramkisoon's show every other week. I was on Fazir Muhammad's show every other week. There were days when I would have Asha Gulston, and then I can't remember who was the producer for CNC3 before Carissa Lee. There was somebody else, and they would be arguing with me. No, come on, Hema show first before you go on Fazir. I tell you, I was literally the darling, and we have all the videos saved. I was the most published, prolific writer in the Guardian and the Express. They used to feature me on a featured letters page for my letters. I was the only columnist in Trinidad and Tobago that wrote for the TNT Mirror weekday and weekend edition. So I was in media. So I am not Trumpian. If I am exposing media, I'm exposing it from inside. As a member of the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago, I questioned how could Sunati Maraj represent CNC3 and TV6 in the 2015 politics? How is that possible? In a time, in a world where media is supposed to be independent and free, how did you end up with the same political content director on two independent stations?
All right.
So I want to rubbish that Trumpian bullshit. Because I am and I can say that. And I know I could say that. And I want you to understand this clear. That media has a role in society. And the reason media is dying at the pace it is dying in Trinidad is because people have lost faith in media. There is no trust in what comes out of it that you could rely on it as fact. And that is a sad indictment and a horrible eulogy for something that was supposed to safeguard and build our democracy.
Okay. As we're on the topic of the media and your views and opinion of the media.
Me alone, or is going to somebody else?
No, you're
sticking on me.
We're sticking with you. So we saw recently where there was a complaint filed against you to the Equal Opportunities Commission.
What's going on with that?
By Kijan Haynes.
What's going on with that?
I am not sure. I'm not an employee of
the media carried it. But the media carried it, and the media is not following it up. I think it fell flat. Because we're not hearing anything about it, and my lawyers are anxiously waiting to represent us there. We are not in the business of foolishness. That was a media stunt. Kijan Haynes said on social media that he was proud that when he had a job in TV6, he made every effort to block me on media. When I called him a house Negro, it was referring to him as an Uncle Tom, as a Judas, because the sentence, you can't just extract the words house Negro. You have to read the entire thing. I call him a half-pint house Negro, which belittled and minimized him for his failure as a journalist to understand his responsibility. The term house Negro was a person in the times of slavery that sought massa's interest over the field slaves. And if it wasn't for house Negroes during slavery, slavery would have ended 400 years before. It would have ended 400 years sooner. It is the house Negro that made sure that the black man in the field get the most licks. He was worse than Massa and the overseer. And to call somebody that, to call him a Judas, to call him a Uncle Tom, to call him a sellout, especially media, I know why I say that.
Right, so just to clarify, for those people who may have watched that comment and believe there were racist overtones, that was not your intention.
But I call Fazir Muhammad a house Negro too. Fazir is an Indian with an Indian beard. So how could it be racist if I call Lil Douglas Boy Kijan's a house Negro and I call Fazir Muhammad a house Negro? But it's conveniently racist. Take us before the Equal Opportunity Commission. I expect this PNM fronted media to take us everywhere, and we're going everywhere with them. Right. We buy a tennis racket, we expect to be on a tennis court too.
We just wanted to put that out there and
no, but listen, I understand, and I had put out I put out an apology to the people who did not understand what the term meant, because in this country of Trinidad and Tobago, when you look like me and you think like me and you act like me and you are a serious challenge to the established order, there's a kiss of death. They want to label you as something that doesn't seek the interests of black people and Indian people. So they call you a racist so that the black people and the Indian people can vote for you. But I want to ask Afro-Trinidad and Indo-Trinidad, what has 56 years and $3 trillion of PNM-UNC exchange change nonsense, lesser evil voting has done for them? Because the PNM has enriched some people who don't have the term Negro in their resume. Johnny O'Halloran wasn't a black man, called a hat not black. and look at who is the inner circle. The top cabinet that Keith Rowley has not one black man. And I'm saying this for the first time because I'm not an optics man. Eh? Our party is people. My deputy political leader from the start is a big, bald-headed black man. My chairman of my party. And I'm saying it like this because we have more people of color. In fact, I think I am the lightest. No, they're Harry Hunt. Harry is our founder. He is deaf. We have people who are differently able. We have people of every race, color, creed, class, sexual orientation in the most senior positions of this party, and I am the most unwilling leader. I am always ready to resign and step down and have somebody else do the job. I know my function and my purpose. She said it just now. I bring a certain level of critical thinking to the party, but they're all getting there. And at some point, I see myself and my mission as advisor to a real functional democratic party. Christoph and I was talking about it coming here. And the difference between the Progressive Empowerment Party and any other political organization this country has ever had is that this party has not been formed for any reason other than to represent the people. There's no agenda and there's no hidden plan. All of it, we say the well-being of the citizens, the function and purpose of government. And that is where we want to enter the conversation, to change the way government is done in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Philip Alexander. We'd like to take a break. Philip, have you ever seen Designated Survivor? You need to take a look at that. You sound just like the president.
Doesn't he just make it pause?
We take a break. When we come back, we continue talking with the Progressive Empowerment Party.
This is who interviewed us. Designated Survivor?
Yeah. It's a show about a man who was in the U.S., member of the U.S. cabinet. And he was the minister, the secretary for housing or agriculture. One of them posts that nobody's really care about. And
you can see Sir Charles
he barely.
Sir Charles, give them a wave now. Give social media a wave now. They
social media.
They just hear you. Come now. They just hear your name.
Well, they're only a controversial leader.
You know you love him.
And he only became president because the entire what is called, I think the entire cabinet was blown up when they blew up the Capitol and the entire cabinet was killed. And he was the person who was appointed designated survivor. So that's the only reason he didn't attend the thing at the Capitol.
Oh.
Because everybody died, he became president, but he was always he's not a politician by nature. Because he was a lecturer and all that kind of stuff before.
David,
so when he became president, he took that same attitude into his presidency, so much so that when he was going up for re-election, I think at the end of the second season, and he tell both parties to ask it both all, I going up as an independent. All the Republicans can send up all the people, Democrats
correct.
People up, I going up as an independent.
But David, correct. And let me tell you something, if we get Trinidad just have to join P.E.P, you know. Trinidadians just have to wake up. That's all we want, you know. All we want is that people start to stand up to power and start to question why we have a president. It serves no purpose. It costs us hundreds of millions of dollars for no reason. And then you have whoever's holding that office parting the traffic with the 19 vehicles and 24 armed guards. For what? Half the people in Trinidad and Tobago at any given time couldn't tell you who was the president if you tried. So the president's safe. The president can ride a bicycle down the road, nobody care. We use politics and position in this country as bling. You know how much people open the lines.
I'll come back, I'll announce that first, and as he calls...
How long y'all want us for, Sir Charles?
Well, we're wrapping up at 1.
We're going at 1.
I will tell you something just before we come on here. I mean, I sit down here with your candidates and other candidates.
You all are very
powerful. Powerful. Sir Charles, tell me something.
Excellent.
You in this thing long time. You ever see a powerful candidate team like this? Local government election?
Right.
Thank you very much. You know, pat yourself in the back and stuff like, whoop. Pat yourself. We had the best mentor ever. And
Welcome back, State of the Nation on Power 102.1 FM. I'm your host for today, Gregory McBurney. Friday's edition. I know a lot of you all are looking forward to the weekend, but I'm guessing the people we have with us, they're looking forward to Monday, next week, Monday, local government elections. Members of the Progressive Empowerment Party, we have the party's leader, Mr. Philip Alexander, along with the candidate for Belmont East, Felicia Holder, and the candidate for Barataria, Christoph Samlal. Now, I want to touch on
Before, I just want to ask you one question, right? To make a point. We were driving here, I was listening to your news. On your news, the media says that a political analyst says that they expect the lowest voter turnout for this election. And nobody asked that analyst, based on what do you arrive at that? I do something professionally for large corporations, and it's called media management. And media management, we record everything that is said on any version of media 24/7 in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a database that will shock you, that going back to 2010, and at no point, at nowhere in the conversation has anybody stepped up and said that this was a poorly contested. If anything, when a local government election is so hotly contested that it could pull the political leaders of the PNM and the UNC down into Belmont and Barataria for some last-minute stunts like they did last night, it shows that this is a very critical election and that people are very interested. And I despise abuse of media privilege to suggest to the voters that their vote don't matter. And I want to tell all of the people who are watching us, because I know on social media we have a massive following, and I want them to hear me say, each and every single vote is important in this election, and every one of you who have the franchise and the opportunity to vote in Belmont East and Barataria, make sure and get up early, bathe, dress, put on your powder and your perfume, and head down to the polling station.
But you must admit, I guess, and you all will know, I guess, for being more on the ground and having spoken to persons while you're campaigning, that there is some level of
apathy?
I don't want to say disinterest, but you get that feeling that people are, well, it's the same old all politicians. It's no different. You get that feeling from the people on the ground. Am I right?
You do, until they realize that we are a new party, and then they just get like excited and their face light up and they're like, how long we waiting? Where you all been all this time?
Did you see that political analyst in Barataria anywhere all these weeks and days?
No idea.
Did you come and interview anybody?
No idea. I'm not going to say the NACTA poll said that how they don't want a third party before we even submitted our nomination.
Who in Barataria said to you that NACTA called them? Anybody?
Well, what we could do is we could find out, I guess, from the general public. You all feel free to give us a call. Any of you who are listening, the number is 222-TALK.
You're giving us an extra half hour, Sir Charles? We can go tell half one,
222-8255.
Call Stanley.
That number once again, 222-8255.
Take calls, let the people call.
Feel free to call and share your sentiments with the members of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Let me ask you a question, Philip. I was reading in this article online that it said the Progressive Empowerment Party is the only political party, and I was in bold, only political party, preaching unity among all people. When you say that you're the only party,
you could stop right there
and preaching unity, yet still, and I think Felicia mentioned it just now. She used the word to describe it. She said controversial. Do you think? Do you think that you are able to get that message of unity out there, while some people still have that view that you are controversial?
I want you to understand that you have to be controversial. This is a country, David. Is David?
No, Gregory.
Sorry. This is a country, Gregory, that has accepted racism as our politics for 56 years. We've accepted that we are a racist nation and divided it. When you talk about traditional voter parties, you're talking African go PNM and Indian go UNC. Because they have no ideological difference between them. They're both racist, corrupt, and criminal organizations. I say that without fear of contradiction. The mismanagement that the country has had for the 56 years is reprehensible. But we have accepted till David Rudder had to insult the nation and say how we vote is not how we party. And black don't vote with Indian. I want you to understand. The reason I want to be controversial is I have 9 billion people on this planet. And only on this dot, Trinidad and Tobago, are African people and Indian people at war. Nowhere else in the world. The Mahatma Mohandas Gandhi, his first struggle was against apartheid in South Africa. Plenty of people don't know that. That Indians and Africans are seen as black together worldwide. But in this dot, we like the Hutus and the Tutsis. We find a way and a reason to divide the people so that bandits who don't look like them could thief money while the people distracted wrestling like fools on the ground.
All right, let's take some calls. Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, caller. Take down the volume on the radio quickly, caller.
I'll let Felicia answer all these questions.
Hello.
Oh, Christoph too, eh?
Yeah,
Hello,
we
good
hear.
afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm calling from Belmont.
Yes, Belmont, beautiful.
I admire the aspirants, the people who are coming forward as a new party. But I would just like to say something to them. And this will hold good after the election. That you first have to find out what caused this thing that they're calling racial voting. This go back from 1956. Find out what caused it. And you will see
Don't let him hang up.
that it is so.
Ask him
and
to
it
hang up.
cannot be changed until...
He ain't going to he just makes making contribution. He's a regular.
No, but ask him not to hang up. See if you can get him to not hang up.
Yeah, I don't know if he will be
Try for me.
Of what they did to mobilize forces and go to the Protestant City Council, go to the regional corporation where the statutory meetings take place, and when you come on a platform, talk about what goes on there,
Ask him to stay.
and what you will do to make a difference. But don't come and say,
Belmont! Belmont, you hearing us?
Make sure Belmont come on.
Belmont! He gone.
Belmont, go
You
on.
see, what I want you to know is that Eric Williams didn't write the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The first Constitution was written by a fellow by the name of Taj Mahal Hossain. That the Indians and the Africans were in Marlborough House together. When the Jamaicans step out of the Federation, and Eric said 1 from 10 is not, and they had to recreate a Constitution for Trinidad and Tobago. Ellis Clark and Taj Mahal Hossain and Capildeo and the rest of them had to work together and create a nation state in days. The British gave us days to do it. And it wasn't about African and Indian then. But at some point, neo-colonialism stepped into our consciousness. When we lowered the Union Jack and we raised the red, white, and black, it was supposed to be all of we together, charting our future going forward. Somewhere along the line, them same fellas in the Chamber of Commerce and all of those who were benefiting, they pull Eric and them aside and say, listen, oh, you could live nice, you know.
Hold it ready. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. This is Janice Leamon, the Creaky.
Janice Leamon Creaky. That's our PRO. That's our PRO.
Thank
I want
you.
to tell your listeners that I've had the privilege of walking with the two candidates from their various communities, and that the residents have indicated that they are extremely fed up and tired of the TNM and UNC, and are extremely happy that there is a party that is new and that have young people involved and who are passionate and have lots of energy and who are going to work for the people. So come Monday, we are definitely going to see a change, and the same way Guyana and Barbados brought forward change, Trinidad, I'm very, very sure about the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
All right.
We all want
That is the
change.
hardest working PRO in politics. Eh?
Thank you very much,
Nice
Janice.
to hear
We have
you,
a next caller
Janice.
on the line. Let's take that caller quickly before we wrap up.
You're not giving us the half one? You're not giving us the half one?
We have just about a minute. Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, caller. Very quickly.
that she has not come with those secretaries. That gentleman don't know to speak. He's unproven. What would I want to be?
Tell him stop shouting, we're not understanding him. He
listening. All right, okay, no problem.
he have no more color shot.
All right, so we have just about...
So what do you have after this show?
We have just
Come
about
now,
2 minutes.
we will chip up and buy the hour, you know. We'll chip. Somebody say now on this table, say media in Trinidad and Tobago, you gotta buy the news, you know. They were said on your station, you know.
Just buy lunch, right?
No. Yeah, listen, we go end without the controversy. I agree with you.
So before we go, I just want to give the two candidates the opportunity again to remind people what it is you believe that you can do differently for your community and why they should stain their finger for you next week Monday.
Well, for the Barataria listeners, what I would like to say is, you know and you experience firsthand the neglect that you've seen over so much years. We're here to offer you the change. We're here to give you that real representation in council and not have any biases towards any parties.
All right, fantastic. And you, Felicia, you get the last word.
Belmont East, listen, we have heard what is not working. Let me tell you what is going to work. Felicia, Hola, put me in office. You will see change in Belmont East. Listen, I want to fight for the things that you fight for. I want to bring recreational facilities. I want to get our roads paved. I want to get street lights. I want to just clean up the community. The community dirty. That plain talk, bad manners. Our community is dirty. Put me in office, you will see change in Belmont East. Listen, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. On Monday the 16th of July, you have the opportunity to get something fresh, new, and works for you, and that's me.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Philip Bellenberg, for
last few words from Phil.
Quickly.
Gregory, thanks a lot. Sir Charles, thanks to, listen, Stanley Augustus, we grew up together, your station manager, a giant among men. Thanks a lot, Stanley, for putting this show together, because I was supposed to come on a show and it didn't happen for a reason. And to all the viewers who paid attention, please share the videos, tell everybody. And to the loyal listeners on Power 102, it is always a pleasure coming here and chatting with you.
We should invite them to our event.
Oh yes, we have two events in Barataria at 2 o'clock. We're having a chip and a truck, free snow cone and Tassa. Look, my boy, you're going big brother. That is tomorrow from 2 o'clock in Barataria.
And does it start? Where's it starting?
Starting at Maritime, I believe. And
by the gas station, you will see all the flags and the music truck and thing.
Beautiful.
And Sunday, Pigot's Corner at 3 o'clock. What do you want to tell them? Say it yourself.
Yes, Sunday at 3 o'clock after football, come down because we're having a little thank you celebration. And all the people from Belmont East, I really, really, really appreciated your support. So, first rounds of drinks on me, aka Philip. First rounds on Philip, aka me.
Hell no.
And free pies.
No, first round. All right, the first rounds is on the Progressive Empowerment Party.
All right,
thanks a lot, team.
Thank you very much, folks, for being here with us today, and all the best come Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory.
All right, I am Gregory McBurney. Thank you so very much for listening.